Most people think that getting hacked is about bad companies, bad people, someone clicking the wrong link.
We are no longer in a world where you download a virus and this virus does everything on your laptop. No, you download a tiny piece of software that's completely not malicious, it doesn't do anything, but this software tries to understand what's happening with your laptop. It has a control.
But you don't realize we're living in a complicated and highly connected world, which brings a lot of invisible doors and a lot of problems with it.
The current encryption algorithms we use right now will be able to be decrypted.
My today's guest is Evgeniy Kharam. He's a cybersecurity and security architecture expert who has worked in this field for decades for companies like Harjavec Group, where he spent almost 16 years of his career.
In some cases, companies know they've been hacked only 260 days after they've been hacked.
He has seen firsthand how the compromises happen and what happens after that inside the companies. He has seen it all, and he knows why the companies don't realize unless it's too late. Without the movie version, without the jargon, this is starting to know. Let's get to the show. This is for you. You can open it and see.
Hey. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is good.
If the company is saying like we have never been hacked, would that be true or false?
It's probably was false.
False.
Because how does he know? How does he understand? There's a lot of research, a lot of documents that saying that in some cases companies know they've been hacked only 260 days after they've been hacked. And some companies know they've been hacked because FBI calls them or somebody else calls them. Or the customers see abnormal activity. So seeing this will be definitely, I may say, not a mature statement. And it kind of goes along to the idea when the upper management asks, are we secure?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does it mean? What does it mean, are we secure? It's the same as asking if you live in a house, is our house safe? I think so, you know. But how do you metric? What do you do to say we're secure? We can say we're secure because we know this about the company. This is what we do. This is our roadmap. This is proactively our way to understand. So if you at the house proactively check all your appliances, all your windows, all your foundations, all your electricity, all the maybe pipes, then you can say yes, our house is safe because we're doing XYZ. Not because we found a leaky roof once in a while, because we consistently doing an effort and we metric this effort across the entire environment. And of course, the larger the company, the harder it is. And if you look on the last 6 years, COVID changed the way we look on information as well. Before the recording, we just spoke about how long you and me been in IT.
Yeah.
And if we go 15 years, 20 years before, basically we work at the office. We went home.
True.
Some of us had Blackberries, so we had some kind of connectivity to the emails. But most of us came 9 a.m. and they read all the emails that came during the night. Or maybe nothing came during the night because everybody else left home as well. And there was no laptops. Almost no laptops. But right now, do you know anyone without a laptop?
No.
Do we have workstations? No. We have workstation for people who are doing audio, video, some kind of work that required much more horsepower. And during COVID, everybody basically worked from home. So working from Starbucks was an anomaly. Working from Starbucks is totally fine. Who worked in Starbucks? Students before that. Now everybody work from Starbucks, from home, from hotels, take the work with them. Basically, we're constantly moving, constantly working. And in many cases, you're going to a new place and they're just basically giving you and telling you, here's a laptop. Or they're telling you, go buy a laptop or bring your own laptop. Why I'm saying this, the exposure of what may go wrong is very big.
But what's the real reason companies don't know that, or companies don't realize that they have been hacked?
Few things.
Yeah.
One, in many cases, cybersecurity is the cost for the company. Why I'm bringing back cost? Because in the end of the day, business there to make money. So if cybersecurity doesn't bring money, it means they have a limited budget in most cases. It means they need to fight for the budget. If cybersecurity brought money, there's going to be more budget. Now, in most cases, there is compliance, there is need, there is a requirement people need to do. This is why they have cybersecurity. If we look back on 10 years ago, remember this was problems with DVRs and recording studios that got hacked and people can see it. And then you go, because it was made out of somewhere and people didn't spend money to secure it, had default passwords. Same here, there's a limited staff, limited budget. It means people doing firefighting. They just going and hole here, hole there, problem here, problem there. So not proactively going and understanding how do we build a good cybersecurity program. The big financial companies have a large budget because the cost for them to be breached, to be hacked, is very, very big. From not serving the customers, from exposure, and from reputation as well. And I kind of have a long answer for your question, but people just don't have time to proactively understand what's happening, or they are not monitoring what needs to be monitored. So we have this idea of security operation centers. In TV, you're looking on movies, there's police or somebody have a lot of cameras, a lot of screens. They're looking at what's happening in the property. Same with cybersecurity. There is NOC and SOC, network operation centers, and security operation centers, where people watch what's happening in the company from the feeds that are coming in. If the feeds are not coming in, or people miss the alerts, or they don't know what's happening, they may be breached. So this is like one part. Of course, if you can go deeper, you work in a company, for example. I ask you your password. I call you, telling you I'm an IT person. I'm not even trying to hack you, what you say. You give me your password. I log in as you. That's it. There was a very famous hack with MGM about 4 years ago. That basically they were able to get because we talk about MFA, multi-factor authentication, or second-factor authentication is the text, the SMS that comes to you. So if I were able to trick you to give me the password or tell you I'm an IT person, I'm checking XYZ, I need this and that, and you're overwhelmed with your kids, with your life, with your work, you maybe trust me. So I didn't even hack the environment. I social engineer you to do this. All the movies, the Ocean 11, the Italian Job. There's so many movies about people basically tricking the places to get in.
So if you have MFA, is that a foolproof way to get in or not to get in?
I don't think ever foolproof, because there's always going to be something. Because if let's do that. You are connecting to your bank and you're doing an MFA. But if I trick you to get your MFA, if I stole your device and you don't lock your device, and MFA come to your lap, to your device, to your iPad, iPhone, Android, then I have the second factor authentication. Sometimes there are special attacks that happen. Now, I'm not trying to scare the public, because it sounds like, oh my God, we never are going to be protected. The reality is much simpler. People reuse passwords in Facebook and in the bank and in the job. People don't lock their phones. So we don't even need to go to the extreme cases of like 1%. There's much more hygiene on the regular basics information you can do to be more safe.
Do you use password managers?
I personally use password manager, yes. I don't know my passwords. I honestly don't know my passwords.
Well, I'm always scared, kind of scared to use those, because all of my passwords are going to live there. So if a hacker can get inside a single company, if they get access to all the passwords, they're pretty much everywhere.
You are right. There is secondary encryptions on the passwords, usually double encrypted.
Okay.
Second, all the major accounts, and I try to make as much as possible to tie my accounts to Google, for example, when I'm logging, or maybe some of Facebook with its social accounts. But the accounts to Facebook, to Google, all going to have two-factor authentication. So even if it gets compromised and you have my Google password, if you don't have my device, the alert will come to my device. I was actually wiping my mom's phone 2 weeks ago, and I was trying to log in. And it told me, okay, go click on the tablet to let in. But her tablet was at home. And okay, what is your secondary device? My dad's phone. He forgot his phone as well. So we couldn't actually reset my mom's phone, even use the password. I ended up driving to her house, bringing the tablet to be able to let in. So there is stuff there. Now, compared to you writing passwords on a sticky note or writing passwords in a notebook sitting on your laptop or your new desk, I'll prefer password management.
Would you use a platform that does not have a two-factor or multi-factor authentication?
What do you do there?
Yeah, for example, like if Google doesn't have a multi-factor authentication and you have a password saved in a password manager.
Yeah, so basically I need to connect to my password manager with my two-factor authentication and then take the password from there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely devices on platforms where don't have two-factor authentication or use Google single sign-on, and I'll put a password. And I'm not going to reuse the same password. I'm going to come up with something obscure and put it there. I don't really know the password. It's going to be some kind of gibberish.
Got it.
Yeah, some people say there's different ways to do it. Some people say like put long sentences, put phrases. I just put random characters. I honestly don't remember them.
Got it. So because I haven't used the password manager, maybe that's the reason, because I was thinking that Google won't have the multi-factor authentication, but you're saying password manager itself has a multi-factor authentication. So yes. there I was wrong. So in terms of like, what is the most common reason you think or you have seen hackers to get access to a personal account or a company's account, like actually inside, like they get inside the company? What is the most common reason?
People are too busy and they don't pay attention to small clues. Probably the most common one is you got an email. The email has a link, so phishing, what we call. You click on the link from a variety of reasons. And then two things happened. One, by clicking on the link, piece of software downloaded to your device. Ideally, there is defenses that not supposed to this to happen. Like firewalls and antiviruses. Two, and we are no longer in a world where you download a virus and this virus does everything on your laptop. No. You download a tiny piece of software that's completely not malicious, doesn't do anything, but this software tries to understand what's happening with your laptop. It has a control back called CNC, command and control, back to the internet, where it basically asks for more instructions. So think about a spy getting into a bank, but not even a spy. Let's say somebody works in a bank, and I was able to bribe you to give me more information about the bank. So now you're telling me where's the doors, where's the offices, whether the guards are rotated. And I tell you, okay, now go put this, now go put a camera, now go to this room. So I use you to understand the reconnaissance, more what's happening. And only when I'm ready, I can download more software or put another agent, if you can say this. I'm simplifying the stuff to do more information.
Okay.
So this is one part. Second part is you click on a link and this link asks you for your credentials. It says, oh, it's an HR, you just won a bonus, it's a Thanksgiving, it's a holiday, whatever it is. You put in your credentials. Now the bad guys know your credentials. Now they can use these credentials. Back to multi-factor authentication. If there is no multi-factor authentication, what can I do? There's many different scenarios. Now, from there, remember when we spoke, we work from everywhere right now? It means we're not locking down our castle, our office. It means if I'm home, you home, we now have access to certain information in the company. Because in the past, I have to be inside the company to access certain information. So people mention VPNs, remote VPNs, connectivity, remote connectivity. If my remote VPN to connect back to my environment doesn't use multi-factor authentication, or it's too wide open, and now I have the credentials. Here you go. If you're reusing your passwords, let's give you an example. You log in to a website that's doing video editing. And you use the same password as you use for your work. Why? Because it's easier to remember 4 passwords than 55,000 passwords.
Correct.
This website got hacked. This website doesn't use encryption on the passwords or hashing algorithms. Now the bad guys have the passwords. There's actually a database you get pwned that has all the major hacks. The bad guys now have a password of you. They can go try to use this password in other places where you could potentially log in. So you don't even know somebody had access to your bank because you use this password somewhere else. Does this make sense? Is this resonate? Is this connecting the dots?
Yeah. And so are there more reasons as well? Like the common ones, this is the most common that you mentioned. Like, are there more common ones as well? Like maybe like 2, 3 more if they're on?
Of course, yes. There is definitely other reasons. This could be in the past. Now it's less. You put a USB key in your laptop. People actually used to go and check, throw USB keys in company properties and see if you're going to put it in. And this USB key has a malware and virus on this. You may just go to a website and download the malware. There's actually interesting use cases when people download a good software, but this software itself was compromised, and inside the software there's malware. There's virus. So this is also an example. There's quite a lot of different parts on what you can do to actually get compromised. You're visiting websites, downloading software you don't understand. This is a big one. Another became quite popular, more of a way to get money out of you, but people call you and tell you, we're calling from Rogers, we're calling from here, we're calling from there, we have an issue with your TV, with your phone, and they basically trick you to log in or download the software or have a remote access to your phone. And then they can steal information from your phone. So think about this as not one shot, as a multiple approach, multiple angles and steps to get into your environment and to your information.
And what do companies use as a proof to tell people that we are secure, we are a good company, and we are secure? What kind of methodologies they're using?
So there are several ones. Yeah. How would you tell me when I buy a house that your power lines are secure and good? You basically call someone and this person come and check, yes, all the outlets are done by standards. Who is there? So you call an expert that basically check the standards. You're building a house according to some kind of standards and compliances. Same with companies. There are cybersecurity compliances that the company can be aligned to. Now, if you're compliant doesn't mean you're secure, but if you use the compliance correctly and in a good way, you can definitely have better security. So when you talk to a company, you ask for certain compliances. Are you ISO, SOC 2, NIST compliant? It's a big certification bodies. Now, again, if you're compliant, doesn't mean you're secure because you may cut steps here and there. The other part, companies prove that secure, something called pen testing. So we mentioned, look about hackers, where there was an example or term called white hat hackers. Basically, it's a good guys. Now we call them pen testers, penetration testers. They go and check the company environment, the company product, how secure they are. We also have something called bug hunters. But so bug hunting is companies that basically come and let you test what's happening with your environment and find bugs and problems, and in some cases can even get money for this. So there's a variety of ways. But basically, if I want to do business with you and you ask Evgeniy, proof that you're secure, I will tell you, here's my compliance, is what I'm aligned to, this is what I'm doing every month, this is doing what every day, this is the technologies I have in my company, I have a monitoring solution, I have pen tests done in my company, so I'll give you proof of what I did to make sure it's good. Like think about it, we buy a car, what do you ask? Do you do services?
Yeah.
Now, do you look on the body, if there's any dents, you check if in the yellow pages, not yellow, how do you call this, like lemon pages?
Yellow pages as well. Like there is.
Yes, there's like a lemon. It makes sure it's not. It wasn't.
Carfax kind of
Yes, it was never stolen. It actually was never. It was never total.
Yeah.
So there's different similar ways that you can do some pre-check to make sure, and then you ask questions. Hey, so you want to sell this amazing software, and my data going to be over there. Who has access to my data? Do you have policies about my data? So we didn't talk about policies. So we have policies and procedures where we basically describing how we do XYZ inside companies. And this could be which website we can access, cannot access. People that are watching us right now in working in large companies probably cannot go and check their health status or like blood tests at work or go to do banking or maybe not go do shopping because it's blocked. Depending on the company policy. So you have a policy that explains what you can or cannot do. One of the latest part is AI. Can I access ChatGPT from company or cannot? Or maybe have a company-specific ChatGPT, LLM. Again, ChatGPT, I'm kind of generalizing the name.
You said like compliance doesn't mean like the company is secure. So in compliance, basically companies can lie and do lie?
Do not lie, but in many cases, I need to show procedures.
Yeah.
I need to explain what I'm doing and how I'm doing. But there's still left and right. There's a bit of, it's not about lying. It's basically there's much more beside the compliance part that need to be done.
Compliance, because I was once getting the company certified to international standards, not the exact IT SOC, but I know like you build the processes and procedures and get the things done. There's going to be an auditor asking you questions and all that.
Yes. Yeah. But in some cases, like SOC 2 is a famous one, but you decide how you do the SOC 2. What do you attest against what? And in some cases, you basically, even with SOC 2, you say, I'm SOC 2 compliant. And I don't want to go very deep because it's, but you as a buyer want to actually say, okay, you're compliant, it's great. I want to read what's inside this SOC 2. Because then you understand if this is sufficient enough. Small example, you ask about how do I know I'm not getting hacked? I need to watch and monitor my information. So I may say in SOC 2, we in the company decided that I have Evgeniy and his dog and a monkey watching the logs. This is how we said to do it, okay? When Evgeniy is sleeping, the monkey watching the dogs, the logs, on the information. So this is sufficient for us. Now, you may say, this is stupid, like, what do you mean a monkey watching the logs? I'm kind of laughing. You say, no, it's not enough. We actually want a system, we want some monitoring, we want some automation, we need more robust. Because in the end of the day, every company may decide how is it doing. And there's also an idea of, you cannot expect from a company of 5 people to buy a million of devices because they're still small. So when the company growing, the cybersecurity growing with them, the idea is not to duct tape cybersecurity later on, is to implement cybersecurity as part of the process and building the product, the service.
So enterprise companies do rely on these SOC 2 compliance or like any other compliance certifications.
It's a part of the process. So there's special departments that basically work with vendors, third-party vendors, and the entire idea of how to onboard customers. Because think about that. If you're a bank, you work with thousands of partners, not just in cyber. It could be a lot of different people.
And we talked about like encryption, and you also mentioned about like AI. So can encryption be decrypted as well? I've heard people telling me like quantum computing can do these kind of things.
Quantum computing is possible, is capable to decrypt certain encryption. There is different encryption algorithms. And the claim right now is that the moment quantum computer will get to a certain stage, the current encryption algorithms we use right now will be able to be decrypted. Right now, the idea is it can be decrypted, but we're talking about ages. So what's happening is the idea or claim that we can record encrypted traffic right now, put it on a shelf somewhere, and in 10 years, 20 years, when quantum computing is more available, will able to decrypt this traffic and go back, understand what's happening. Now, quantum computing is moving very fast, and I think we are not fully ready to understand what's going to happen, where it's going to hit. I cannot claim I'm a subject matter expert in quantum computing, but it's definitely a very interesting movement and very interesting angle.
Okay, and right now only the bigger companies have access to quantum computing?
Yes, even the very, very big one, it's not there. As far as I know, it's not there. So we cannot say that China, US, Canada, Russia, or Europe can decrypt the traffic, as far as we know. Okay.
If two companies have the same budget, same tools, one can control the damage and one cannot, what would the difference between both of them? Like, one is not using the money effectively, or not the tools effectively, or they don't have the right tools and they're not spending the money at the right place?
It's an interesting question, because we can shape it in a different way.
Yeah.
We can say you and me want to compete in the Olympics, okay?
Yeah.
Or we say, you know what, next year you and me will able to do 500 push-ups. Then what do? How do you prepare? How I prepare? Practice, but mental state, there's multiple factors here. Why I'm bringing this here? While automation is not going to be a good use case for push-ups, but for companies, if I have a budget. So let's say every day you need to go and do something in the company. Open the door, onboard the user. So can I find a repeatable tasks in a company that takes your time, takes my time, and automate? So the smarter companies, the more mature companies will understand where I need the human, what can be automated, where I can later on introduce AI to take the automation to the next level, to understand of, am I in firefighting mode? Or I can spend some time to understand, hey, I'm having these problems all the time. I'm spending so much time. I'm so busy. No, I don't have time. I'm busy. Okay, there is a repeatable problem. Maybe I need to stop, understand the root cause of the problem, fix this, and then I'm not going to have this repeatable problem. So this is going to be the difference between companies, the same budget, where one will do well and one will just continue to firefighting. Of course, people part come to effect as well. How good are my people? How good is my management / leadership? Because management, in many cases, it's like micromanagement, and leadership is more about, okay, let's build this company better. I saw multiple times you working with companies, because I work with other companies as part of consulting career, and you're talking to someone, and then in this stage, they're not going to share data. They have a job security. There is no job security. Forget about this. If you think you're going to hold on data that have job security, you're absolutely wrong. So instead of that, let's bring the younger people, let's educate them, let's elevate us to guide the younger people to, they have other ideas, so sometimes thinking much faster, they're faster, clever. So there's going to be the difference between using the budget smart, using your time smart, and not.
Right now, there is no job security in IT?
I don't think so. No, So I've been 25 years in cyber. We probably changed what we did at least 5-6 times. When I started, I was very proud I can actually make an RJ45 cable, the network cable, and I understand certain protocols. Right now, it's completely irrelevant. I remember at one point, I used to go and put servers inside the racks. Okay, we're moving on, there's stuff changes all the time. There's still people that do this, but they change all the time. So people don't build their own data centers. They go to Amazon, Azure, Google. There's people there that build data centers, of course. Mm-hmm. We used to go and configure firewalls on multiple cybersecurity products. In most of the cases, they come now pre-configured, or I can run a script, and it will just going to be done for me as well. So I can repeat this as well. We spoke about back to configurations. Now I can literally go and spin a server in a cloud in a matter of minutes. 10 years ago, I need to go and maybe 2 months ask for people to give me a server, give me Windows, give me database. It will take forever to do this and change. So a lot of stuff change. I think the only job security people that have is the idea of the frameworks, not frameworks, oh my God. The AS400, the old devices, still many of the banks run of them. Mm-hmm. This is probably the coolest part that not going to be replaced and people still use mainframes. Mm-hmm. But besides this, you have to move with the time. You have to move
But what's going to happen with this profession?
With cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity or IT in general, because now...
it's gonna advance. Like, it's an amazing place to be. I think it's always gonna be needed. And even right now, people are like, I don't need a programmer. I'm gonna wipe code myself. And then they have so many problems, insecurity, vulnerabilities, issues. Cybersecurity is here to stay, and IT is here to stay. It may change. It probably changed the same as it changed before. We moved from manual labor to scripting. Now I can literally tell AI, go build me this and this, or go configure this and this. So it's going to be just a bit different. It's not going to go away.
The number of people are going to get reduced.
No, I don't think so. Because the cybersecurity budget is actually increasing. Because we spoke about security as a cost before that. But if I understand, if I get hacked and I can wipe my entire company, then I need to spend more money in cybersecurity. So the awareness about cybersecurity is become bigger. It's mean we need more people. There is this profession called CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. 10 years ago, it basically is a manager. Right now, every company needs a CISO. And the amount of different problems we have is also bigger. So no. 100%. If you're looking right now and you're thinking go cyber, not go cyber, go cyber. You'll find your job. Just don't go and become like a pen tester right away because I want to be a pen tester. I want to hack for a living. It's not so easy. It's not so fast. You know when you finish a 4 years degree in civil engineering, they don't ask you to go and build an Empire State. You go and build like a shed on a backyard. Mm-hmm. So you cannot become a pen tester in 48 hours.
Because right now, I think continuous pen testing needs to be done on many softwares. Maybe this would have been happening previously as well, but now with the use of AI...
It's easier.
Yeah, it's easier. And
again, it's easier. It doesn't mean it's fully replaced. It'd be like, we're going to have AI do the pen testing for me. Guess what? We had software that helped us with pen tests before as well. So in some cases, it may be faster. In some cases, it will do things faster. We now have software to do the reporting for you as well. We just need to be careful not to get to Terminator age, and make sure we don't give too much control to the AI. There was unfortunately too many examples of AI doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing already.
Got it.
Like the OpenClaw and all this.
Yeah.
Scary stories.
Do you have any example of any company, you don't have to name any example where a company looked competent or from the outside and they have the compliances and all that, or maybe no compliances, but still they were compromised?
Yes. I was doing a workshop a long time ago for a large company in electronics, and I asked them, how do you know the antivirus deployed everywhere? They're like, no, we have way to test it, but they were not very sure. And then the guy called me 3 months after. Hey, we found 2 networks completely without antivirus, and this device were compromised.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing happened there. They know there was a problem, but again, nothing happened. God for luckily. And there's other example of. It's actually with the company I'm working on right now. We're doing an evaluation. We're checking the environment and the findings that half of the company don't have everything deployed as it's supposed to be. So, for example, I can have the antivirus working in prevention mode to stop the bad guys or monitoring mode. So usually when you start, you put it in monitor mode and then you flip it to prevention. But in this case, many devices was just left in monitor mode.
How did they realize that it was not?
We were actually doing a test for them.
Consulting,
we were able to show them. So there's many interesting use cases there. People doing changes on the firewalls, temporary changes on the firewalls, because they're doing some kind of troubleshooting, leaving the changes there, and then basically exposing the access to the bad guys. So back to exposure. I'm exposed. I have a problem.
So bigger companies are always on the target of these bad people. They are continuously after them, and one weak link and.
So this is this notion in cybersecurity that the good guys need to be right all the time and the bad guys not. Depend who you ask. So there are some principles of defense in depth. If we go back to castles, if I breach one door, do I get access to the king or queen? No, because there's multiple defenses. So the same here, if I made a mistake on my firewall and the bad guy is able to get in, do I get access everywhere? Or I have a way to basically divide my office, my information, my data, so I'm not going to access everywhere. If we take inspiration from vessels or submarines, what they have is compartments. If one compartment gets breached and water is going there, I have a way to lock this compartment, and I didn't think the entire submarine on the entire vessel. Same is here. We're doing segmentation of the data, of the networks, of the information, and defense in depth. Then ideally, if the bad guy was able to get in, we were able to understand they're there, we were able to contain them, and don't have big damage.
Do you know any company like that was actually compromised?
In what do you mean? In general? Oh yeah, I know many companies that compromised. Yes.
And have you ever consulted any company that they were compromised? Maybe I just want to get behind the scenes. What happens after that? Is everywhere a mess? Everyone is trying to figure out how to stop this guy.
So there's few different things. Yeah. So compromise means that the bad guys are there.
Are there?
It doesn't mean they took the information out of the company. Because then usually we say breach, but breach is also a legal term, so we have to be very careful. Okay. But compromise mean, so let's say exposure, you have a problem, okay? But it doesn't mean somebody actually inside. So my company is exposed. You left the house, you left the window open. I'm exposed. Compromise, it means I now was able to get in through the window and I'm inside your house and I'm walking in your house. Did I took anything? Did I took your wallet, your safe, your jewelry, okay? And then breached, again, I'm very, very careful with the breach because it's a very legal term, is I took the information out of your house. I stole your intellectual property. I potentially damage, but breach and damage is a bit different. So when the company gets compromised, it means there's activity happening inside the company. And we're pretty much talking about what called IR, instant response. This is where we're trying to understand how to contain the information, how to contain the problem. And this is few things. One, to understand how deep is the bad guys inside the company. Two, how is it able to get in? How do we close the doors to get them out? But in the same time, understand if they took any information. If they were able to actually took information out, because we also need to, in some cases, doing illegal, we need to understand maybe are we going publicly and saying there's a problem. We all read on news that this company got breached, this company got breached, because they have to do a disclosure of what happened with them. And during this time, there's instant responders that are doing forensic information of how the bad guys were able to get in. What happened in these devices? Where they are right now? Can they close the doors and kick them out? Can they clean the malware from the device? Don't forget, there's other examples as well. If I'm telling you, please wire me X amount of money, you don't check, you wire me the money. How do we call this? Breach, hacked, compromised. It's all together. You are compromised because you made a mistake of wiring the money. But it's a common problem that some of the issues there, let's say you are my vendor or I'm your vendor, and every month you pay me money for my services, whatever the service it is, cleaning, washing, web services. I send you an email, John send you an email and say, oh, we just changed our bank account. Do you check if John is Evgeniy or John is John? You should check and understand before you change the money. And it happened several times. I don't get money anymore. You're paying me, but you're not paying me.
Yeah. Yeah. And right, so you're here talking about like when the companies have budget, right? And they have like cybersecurity team. But right now you also mentioned the word vibe coding, right? So a lot of people are vibe coding, and you're saying like there could be, or there may be, or there is potential problem in the code that is being written by the AI, and there's going to be vulnerability and all that. So, but based on all this, smaller companies, vibe coders, they're not definitely a company like initially like they're gonna form a sole proprietorship or incorporation or whatever that the scenario is. So like it's a smaller company, they don't have the budget for the cybersecurity. So they are always vulnerable because they cannot check. They don't have the budget to check. They cannot keep on checking. They don't have IERs. They don't have like any other SOC and all those
things.
Yeah.
There's two problems here, maybe more.
Yeah.
One, in enterprise, so let you and me work in the enterprise. We have an idea to build something cool.
True.
Okay? You will go into our management, it's like, oh my God, there's going to be too much money. Like, we can just build it. You, me, and Claude build it together.
Yeah.
So you and me build whatever it is, new CRM software, custom relationship management. Okay? And we actually put information of our customers inside the software. People start using this. This is really, really good. We have put it on the internet right now to let people connect and use the software. So in theory, everything is good. But we didn't really do cybersecurity hygiene. We potentially exposed information. Now the bad guys can access to the software, potentially get access to our customers, potentially get access back because it's this software connected to other parts. So this is one problem. We just exposed our company because we did something together. We didn't really do security check. Okay, this is one problem. It should be done correctly. There's procedures, there's protocols, there's tools to do it. Second problem, you and me have an idea of a startup. We wipe code our startup and we go sell this to somebody else, correct? And I say, but you and me don't have money. No, we don't really know what you're doing. So if one, we don't know what we're doing, it's a big problem. But you can say the same about, financial decisions. If I don't know financial literacy, I'm making make stupid decisions. What can I do? So I do want to read, if you wipe coding right now, you read about cybersecurity. Read about how do you put check and balances. How do you put guardrails for your app, what you're discovering. So we all use API keys. Again, I don't want to go to the technology part, but you can read about it. But where do you put these keys? Do you put the keys inside the software? Do they put somewhere else? To the point, if you use Claude, Codex, Cursor, inside all the LLMs, there is a security check. So you can basically do self-assessment with the tools you're already using for wipe coding to understand what's happening. Real example, I was working on a small project for myself. I was building a vendor database for cybersecurity vendors and basically doing enrichment of data using few different LLMs. And I was using Cloud for the Cloud Caller, and I asked Cloud Caller, hey, audit yourself, audit what we built, understand, are we exposed? What happened? How are we setting the keys? And I was able to find problems. So you don't need a very big budget if you ask the right questions. To start at least, to the hygiene part.
Got it. From a buyer point of view, like if I want to use a particular software, and I don't know, maybe right now I would say like many companies are using like these LLMs to vibe code or not vibe code. Even the coding guys are using like AIs, like the same things. So just want to know, like, so is it never safe to work with the smaller companies because we don't know, they don't have the compliances. Second thing, we don't know like who's coding these products, and these are not reliable companies or the old enough companies. So we should never be buying from the smaller companies. Like,
I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
Because you and me want to start a company.
Yes.
And we're very passionate about what we do. True. And we care about our customers. Yeah. And if one customer tells this is shit, our entire business goes. Yeah. So depending on who we are, we're actually going to put a lot of effort to make sure we produce something good. If you and me are going to open a restaurant, were you going to be sloppy on the food? No, we're probably going to try to do our best because we understand the moment people say we have bad food, people are not going to come to us. So we can say the big customers, if you and me working as part of a team of 500 people, then our contribution is very negligible. So we cannot claim that by definition, if it's a small company, they do a bad job. We can say the same. It's a big company, nobody cares, but they have procedures and they have standards, and you cannot just do whatever you want because people tell you, no, you cannot do this. So back to devil in the details. You want to understand how do you guys develop. So you and me can develop, but still keep some of the standards, keep documentation, get some way to explain to the customers why we secure. And Mr. Customers, yes, we're a small company. Yes, we don't have all the big compliances, but guess what? This is the procedures we use. This is the policies we use. This is why we're using them. So the smallest part, like literally the smallest part, if you're talking to a company and you ask them, hey, so about cybersecurity, can you show me some documentation about your approach to cybersecurity? If they tell you, it means they don't care. They don't understand. It's like, yes. And I tell this to startups all the time. At least produce a document. One document. And the moment you show a document, you're like, oh, okay. It's already like a greenish flag that you understand, you're aware. It doesn't mean you're fully secure, but at least you're aware about secure by design. We mentioned about this about 20 minutes ago. We don't want to duct tape cybersecurity. We want to create products that are secure by design. Majority of us are so happy to do something without thinking about security. And if you look on the era of IT, we first invent something and then figure out how the bad guys apparently can use it, and then we secure it. Right now, deepfake. Somebody can go on Zoom and pretend they're me or you. You're like, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm like, oh shit, there's a problem.
So spending more is going to make companies safer, like for a smaller companies or bigger companies?
Spending smart, not spending more. Bigger doesn't mean always better, but smarter, yes. So where do I put the money? How do I use the money? Yes. How do I define priorities? At the end of the day, when I'm spending money, is there's a way for me to metric why do I spend the money there? If this is just aesthetic, or we are trying to do something creative, productive, meaningful for our customers, so it all depends.
Some companies don't know, and some companies know that they're compromised, or whatever legal safe term that we want to use, and they don't want to share that they're compromised. Some companies, I'm going to repeat again. So some companies are compromised and some companies are not. So the companies which are compromised, if they are not telling the public or their users that they have been compromised, what is the problem there?
Depend on where the company located.
Okay.
In certain states, I believe the state of New York in US, I don't remember exactly, it's like 48 or 72 hours, you have to actually disclose that you got compromised. So the same as rules, you have to do fire inspection, or you may get a fine, depend on where you're located. I don't remember all the rules right now, but you actually have legally to disclose you get compromised.
But if you know and you still don't tell, so there are fines. This is what
yes. Now, there is nuances, because if you get compromised, but you can prove that the customer information wasn't touched, there is a gray area. Okay. But you do have to do it. That's why you have lawyers. That's why you have legal support.
Which one is more common, like companies getting compromised or and not telling the people, or companies not getting compromised?
Probably company getting compromised, not telling the people. And because we just don't know.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're located, and we have to, and what's happening.
So there are, like, not every country is like having strong enough rules that you have to tell. Okay.
And even right now, so you use a service on the internet. We spoke about video editing, audio editing before. Do you really know where it's located? You maybe don't even know. Do you check if this company located in Canada, Israel, China?
We don't yet.
And also, the bigger the company, of course, the public companies has also. And it's the same. The public company has to actually disclose the revenue. So there's a lot of rules.
And they're going to be like, and it definitely impact on like long-term staying quiet. Like there was a problem and you stayed quiet, and now somehow like that information got leaked. You're pretty much done. Yeah.
Done, but you're going to have problems. We have fines. Financial companies in Canada, we have a compliance framework, not compliance body called OSHV, basically tell you what you need to do and not to do. So a lot of the budgets for cybersecurity coming because Oshvi came and tell you, no, you have to do that.
But bigger companies like I think Google and many others, like I think they have been compromised a couple of times previously, like in the recent.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So
Even Microsoft.
yeah. And as a user, like we don't really like avoid using them. We still keep on using them, like because of the sticky product and the things that
Products, there's nothing better available. We are like convenience trump security.
Sure.
If you create a very secure product that's not convenient to use and not user friendly, people are not going to use it. So convenience always going to trump security.
Are there any signs that's going to tell me if I'm a founder, I own a company, that there are going to be these other flags that I should keep on check? That's going to tell me basically that my company is safe or is vulnerable.
I'll start from how do you metric? What do you do monthly, quarterly to advance cybersecurity? So as a founder, definitely understand from your cybersecurity team, or if you do managed services, you outsource it. What do you do for me? How do we advance? How do we move the needle to advance it? What are the goals? What are the projects? What are the metrics we're doing? So telling me what are we moving to the right direction? Again, it's a journey. It's not like, oh, I'm secure, I'm done, I can go to sleep. No, it's a journey. You're going to continuously change and push and adapt. AI security, privacy didn't exist. Privacy existed, but problem with AI security and LLMs and privacy, it didn't exist 3-4 years ago in a wide spectrum. Right now, everybody afraid of what people can do with AI inside the companies. There's always something happening. That's why I'm saying cybersecurity, it's a very cool place to be.
Any metrics to share, to tell? You mentioned about metrics, like any...
Oh my God. It's our own majority enterprise level metrics.
Okay.
So it's going to be very hard to talk about which one. It really depends.
So from a customer standpoint, like we don't have any measures to check. Like if you have like $20-$30 subscription that you're going to buy, you're not going to go for like, yeah.
So let's not go to large enterprise. Let's take like a medium company, small company.
Sure.
Okay. Where do you want to start? I'll do something simple. Let's say you're a 50 people company. Do I really have an antivirus installed on every device? Do I know where's all my devices? It's a metric. How many devices I have is every one of the devices has an antivirus. Do I know how onboarding and offboarding new people? The metric going to be is that I can onboard on offboard people in X amount of days and remove their access. What kind of access they have? Does everybody, do I understand which software I'm using in my company? And it doesn't have MFA. But like simple straightforward information that you can start from there. Then you can say, okay, I have such information in my company. Do I back up this information? Is the backup successful? Like a very simple metric. Is backup is done? Do we check our backups? Because if something happened, then I need to restore my data from somewhere. Here's 4 or 5 things you can track in a small company to start from.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a step back from it. From a buyer's point of view, there's no way for us to check. Like, even I'm a buyer, like $20-$30 subscription.
You don't know. No. The only thing you can go is ask for a SOC 2 compliance, but for $20, nobody going to ask you this. You can potentially understand what people write about it. What is it? What I will suggest you do if you buy a service like that, go on their website, find privacy, find security. They should have a tab security and privacy, and read what it says there, at least, And the part that they have this document there, it's indication. Remember, I spoke about document. They already thinking about this. If they don't have it there, it means they don't care.
What the founder or CEO should be asking the IT or security team that's going to reveal like what is happening inside the company.
Don't ask, are we secure? Okay, it's there's no yes. Mm-hmm. Ask, what are we doing?
Okay.
What is the common problem we see right now? What is the issues we see in the company? What is the latest incident you guys saw, and how do you actually overcome the problem? So get a bit of a tricky question, not yes and no. Yes and no questions not helping. Are we secure? It's a yes or no question. Asking, what are we doing? What is the program? What is the cybersecurity incidents, or how we overcome them? What are we planning to do? What are the major potential problems we have? Is there anything Ideally, like, what do you need to make sure do you do your job?
And what kind of answers should make the person worry? This is
Worry. I had no incidents. Like, what? There's no problem at all, because incident doesn't mean compromise. Incident means something happened. So it's mean you don't have enough controls, you don't monitor the controls, or you don't know what you're doing. There's always something happening. So this should be worry. So, but like, no, we good. It's like, we good what? Like, there's something happening all the time. We may contain the problem, but there's always some kind of incident, some kind of information. If there's nothing, it's mean you're not capturing the right information. This is one part. Two parts is people say we have too many problems. We're doing this and this and this and this and this. We don't have enough time to actually be proactive.
And what's a common question that you get asked if you are a cybersecurity expert? CEOs would have asked you, or the founder would have asked you, or most common one that basically starts a conversation about like cybersecurity, like
what can we improve? How do we foresee the problems in the future? What we can do right now that put us on the right course to be more secure, to advance our cybersecurity. The most common one, actually, how do we compare to somebody else?
Yeah, true.
To our peers. Okay, this is the most common one. But the other part, the CEOs and the C-level don't understand cyber. That's why when you talk about metrics, I gave you metrics for small companies. We need to align this to business. So we think, okay, you're in business of XYZ, how cyber is aligned to you. This is what we talk with C-level people. We don't talk technology, we talk how technology aligned to business. And I'm not talking about vulnerabilities, antiviruses with the C-level people. We're talking about more on the holistic level, business level. What do we need to do and why it's important to put money in cybersecurity to make sure the company can still make money as a business. Because at the end of the day, if the company is not profitable, the company is not going to exist.
What's the smallest change that can be done in order to like bring better containment in the company? So without spending much money, like
security awareness training. Make people more aware. Just make people a bit more aware about what they're doing, what they're clicking, and why their small change can impact the entire company. Why somebody in marketing, engineering, development can do something stupid or small that can affect the entire company and make them lose their job and make the company get closed. So tiny, like think before you click. Just don't rush. Understand if this is too good to be true. This is the simplest things you can do as an employee of the company. Is just to understand that your action may bring the company to bankruptcy.
Companies may be already spending money on like these trainings, right? So what other ways the companies could spend money?
Are they effective?
Yeah, true.
So you asked about what are the small things you can do. Is awareness. I didn't say security training, I say awareness. So the security training is me going and clicking on videos.
Yeah.
Or does it actually bring awareness? Do you as a team leader, as a group manager, as a VP, explain to people why it is important?
Usually, based on like my understanding, what I've like covered so far in this conversation, I think multi-layer approach is going to be the best way, because training, as you said, like it's hard to verify, and of course you can have tests and all of the kind of things, and you can see their work, what have they done, but
think about accountability.
Yeah.
If I can bring accountability to you, that your action as a marketing person, as an officer, or whatever it is, can affect the entire company. It me thinking, if you decided to write a wipe code up to the today and expose you to the internet without asking and thinking how they're gonna expose my entire company, it's accountability and awareness. Okay? And in some cases, if you're too scared enough to do it, there's a different problem. Because I'm as a company didn't enable you to go ask for the right support to go faster. Because I can now go faster. We can create software in a very short amount of time.
And what have you seen, like where do companies overinvest in order to feel safe and they don't invest where they actually should be investing?
I think from what I see, again, it depends on the company, but the security monitoring is not always invested in the right way. Definitely not invested in asset management and understanding if everything is deployed. This is for sure an overseen problem. They do invest in many cases in some kind of tools they used before. This could be firewalls they used before, or will buy an antivirus or some other protection. Like there's more than 4,000 cybersecurity vendors. There's more than 100 different categories in cybersecurity. So they don't utilize everything in the company. Mm-hmm. So they buy the tool, but do not actually invest time to maximize the investment in this tool and to make sure everything is working. Think about you buying a car. This was actually a funny example, not even a car. Yeah. A friend of mine, she moved to a new house and she got an oven. And the person who came to implement the oven looked at her kitchen and asked, "Why do you got an oven?" She's like, "Because I need an oven." He's like, "But your microwave is actually act as an oven." She's like, "No." He's like, "Yes." So she didn't know, and I will not know as well, honestly enough, that her microwave acts as an oven. So she didn't need the oven. She actually returned the oven because she didn't know that her tools can do much more. Mm-hmm. It's a very common practice, common problem.
Yeah, because like in software, like not every user is a power user kind of a thing. Yeah, you don't know like what the capabilities are.
Not even a user, as the administrator. Like most of us use our phones, but we don't know the full capability of our phones, cars, and so many other examples.
Yeah. So is it useless to like develop those extra features of things inside the product?
I don't think it's useless because somebody asked for this feature. People usually don't develop them. But then do people know they exist? Do we come and educate them how you can use it?
I know like we had a discussion like before we started, like you said, like 7 days is going to be not enough for an enterprise level company to do something, right? So if a company has like specific amount of days, maybe like 7, 10, 15, 30 days, I don't want to go there. I wanted to actually ask you like first thing, like why enterprise companies take this much amount of time to like implement something because it's a bigger machine. Maybe the answer will be there, but I'm gonna first now talk about like why, if the company has like certain amount of time, what is the first thing or the things that they should be start doing now?
I'll go back to hygiene and inventory. Sure. Understand what you have.
Okay.
So if you're talking about house, how many windows, how many doors, how's your roof, how's your plumbing? So understand what is the current situation of the tools and the assets you have. And then understand who is responsible on these tools. Because in some cases we have devices and people that are not always connected to each other. We don't know the accountability. So I'm not going to go to specific part, but understanding what you have, understanding who is responsible, do an audit how well the systems are working. Based on the audit and based on the inventory, create a roadmap plan, prioritize the roadmap plan, understand what is my biggest bang for the buck, start executing the changes, continue checking what I need to do, maybe bring an external company, if I never did this, to my pen testing, to understand what's happening as well, to bring the exposure as well. So we have a way right now to also understand how the external world look on us as well. We spoke about when I'm buying a company, how do I check? So we have companies that actually can check me. How do I look from outside? So all this bring to my cybersecurity program and create me a roadmap of what I need to fix.
What's the one thing companies should stop doing immediately that creates kind of false certainty? Like, yeah, we're safe, everything is going well. One thing that they could stop.
I'll say create metrics that the business people don't understand. So basically, we were able to contain so many different problems, there are so many different vulnerabilities. Like what actually helped the business to spend the money to understand what's happening? Because there's sometimes people doing job for doing the second doing job, and they're not improving the processes and actually metric the right stuff. And metric the right stuff going to really depend on the company.
What's the one thing and the last thing from this episode that you want people to remember about like cybersecurity? Whether that's a founder, a CEO, like, yeah, for the general public, it's going to be a different thing, but one thing that you want a person to remember about their company.
So maybe a few things if it's okay. No. If you are a small company that developing a product, the moment you're going to be selling to the bigger guys, they're going to ask about cybersecurity. So don't duct tape cybersecurity later on. Start implementing cybersecurity right now. This is one part. Second part, when you're talking about cybersecurity, majority of the people were not able to understand all the nuances. So learn to reframe your communication and your dialogue and your narrative to the language they understand. This could be business language. This could be examples of their life, golfing, basketball, yachting, or whatever it is. Kids, but they need to understand the problem, not how you explain this, in the language they understand. So this is another part. And maybe a bit on the personal part. You're responsible on your cybersecurity. You're responsible on your information. Nobody else. You're not outsourcing this. So as personal cybersecurity hygiene, understand your passwords, understand what you're doing, lock your devices, the laptops, the phones, where you can implement two-factor or multi-factor authentication, because it's going to be one of the most important parts you can do. And same idea as told before about assets. Understand where you have all the information. This is where I will start. And sorry, we spoke about kids before.
Yeah.
Please educate your kids. Sit down with them. Don't kind of like, you should do that. No, explain them examples. Show them examples of where you messed up, for example. Explain why they need to be conscious about passwords, why they shouldn't talk to strangers on different chats and games on Roblox. We have to explain to our kids and educate them about cybersecurity.
Are you okay with kids using Roblox?
You have a choice. So funny enough, yesterday, so I'm trying to reframe this.
Yeah.
So they are playing Roblox, but we do have communication. I'm not monitoring who they're talking to all the time, but we talk about why it's important, who they talk, what do they ask, when do they need to talk to mom and dad about the problem and bring it us. It should be an open communication in case there's a problem, in case there is not understanding something. Understand this part. But what I'm trying to reframe this right now is, why would you play a game that somebody else created? Wouldn't this be more fun if you create your own game?
True.
So right now we're actually learning coding to create our own game. Yesterday I was sitting down with my son, I was trying to figure out how to smash a hammer on a hacker. So it was learning for me as well. So yes, there's a way to reframe it. I think we have no choice. And who's told me this? I don't understand. My son just sitting on YouTube and watching somebody else playing Roblox. And I'm like, okay, but did you went to watch soccer and basketball? Like, yes. So you went to watch somebody else playing a game. You're like, oh, yeah, same. This is different.
That's fun for them, yeah.
Yeah, so it's different. I still want my kids to be active. Like, we do sports, we do, we run, we go on bikes, we play basketball, we go on skiing. So yeah, I think active is phenomenal. You cannot take the devices from them, but we need to able to
balance. Yeah. Thank you so much, Evgeniy, for coming to the show.
Very good questions. You are an amazing host.
Thank you.